Life is Strange is a mostly amazing game series, and I say mostly as there has only been one game in the whole series that I have not liked. I loved Before the Storm and Life is Strange 1, and of course I've already done a review on the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit. And at the end of that video, I mentioned I still haven't played Life is Strange 2. So after I finished that video, I did start playing the 2. And I don't know why, but the game just did not vibe with me at all, which also really put me off playing True Colors. But I have finally got around to playing the game, and I'm going to say I am very glad I did. So the one thing I care most about in the video games I play is the characters. You could have a subpar plot, but if the characters are believable, I will probably play the game. So let's talk about some characters, and I feel the best way to start this off is obviously with the main character, and then how the rest interacts with them, and so on and so forward. The protagonist is a young girl named Alex with a troubled past that we will soon learn a lot about. The game starts off with her getting an exit interview from some kind of what I believe to be an orphanage / group home, as she is moving to Colorado to a town called Haven Springs to live with her long lost sort of brother Gabe after he located her after being apart for a while, and obviously after Alex got put into the system after their mother passed away and their father abandoned them, but we'll also touch on that a little bit later. During the interview, we learn that Alex has had issues being around people, and the fact that she could have a job working at a bar seems to worry the doctor conducting said interview.
So you'd be dealing with people?
Maybe.
Does your brother know about your issues?
It is not till we arrive at Haven Springs that we learn what Alex's power is, which is the power to feel other people's emotions that person is currently feeling. From the good to the bad, to the nervous, to the shy, to the so on and so forward. And I have to say, this is a pretty cool power and semi-unique. It is kind of close to telekinesis, but it's also sort of its own thing that I don't think I've ever seen before. Although there's definitely some weird Marvel or DC hero with like one comic that has this power. Anyway, and we see her use this power for the first time, and we see the power may not always be a good thing, as Alex meets some of Gabe's friends, mainly a female by the name of Steph, who gets very angry on a phone call. And we see that Alex gets so overwhelmed from Steph's anger that she can't really move, say, or do anything. And we also get a situation midway through the chapter where a person named Mac shows up at Gabe's apartment accusing Gabe of sleeping with his girlfriend, a chick named Riley. I hope. I didn't actually write that down. It's probably Riley. I'll do something if it's not. Anyways, Alex feels that anger so much that she can't even control herself, to the point where she starts beating up Mac.
Alex, stop! Stop! Alex!
However, at the big ending of chapter 1, which may have been spoiled for some people if you watched the trailer for the game, but I didn't. So let's just say I was very shocked when it happened. That being, your brother Gabe, the main reason you've moved to Haven Springs, dies while in the mountains trying to save Ethan, who is Gabe's girlfriend's son. After Typhon, a mining company set off an explosion, even though they were aware that there were people in the area. And of course, for the story, Gabe dying was a massive part of it. But just before his death, I feel something more important happens. And it's the first time Alex sort of sees that she can use her power to help people, being able to tap into what Ethan was afraid of and help him get over his fear in order to save his life. And then, of course, after chapter 1 is where the story really starts to kick off. That's sort of how chapters work. And at least in my eyes, there are two sub-stories happening at the same time. Alex trying to learn how to fit in Haven Springs without Gabe, and trying to get justice or revenge on Typhon for Gabe's death. And you know what, now that I mention it, there is sort of a third sub-story of Alex learning that she can use her powers to help people. So let's first talk about what I honestly see as one of the weakest stories this game has to offer. And it's my whole weird sub-story thing I've probably came up with because it's so stupid it's not actually a thing. Typhon is a mining company that has been operating in the mountains around Haven Springs for decades, being the main employer in the town, and one of, if not the only driving forces behind the town's economy. Typhon is known for these explosions that killed Gabe, being somewhat of an event in the town, which they normally go off without a hitch. Of course, we knew Gabe called the safety team and alerted them to the lost child in the area. And Mac, the person who previously got in a fight with Alex, was the person who answered the call and told his supervisor, who said that they would hold the blast. But they obviously didn't, and they told Mac to lie about getting the phone call. So Alex, with the assistance of both Steph and Ryan, Gabe's friend, and now obviously Alex's friend, is trying to find out why the blast still went off and why they told Mac to lie about the phone call, which throughout the game is when they find out that there are secrets to hide. The big secret being that Jed, the owner of the bar that Gabe and Alex lives at, and Ryan's dad, once many moons ago left some of his miners behind to die instead of trying to save them. And one of these miners just so happened to be Alex's estranged father, which all this culminates with the chance for you to either forgive Jed or obviously not to forgive him.
I know who you are. I've seen the worst parts of you. And I forgive you.
Which I chose to forgive him as it just felt like it fits in the way that I was currently playing Alex. Since Alex was abandoned as a child, she has found it very hard to fit in with other people or have any friends. Some of that also probably due to her powers. So she has never really felt like she has a home. And I'm sure foster homes and orphanages probably didn't help that either. And this game perfectly covers the journey that Alex goes on to make Haven Springs feel like home for her. At least, of course, the way I played her is there are a couple ways you can play in this game. As at the end of the game, there's an option to stay in Haven Springs or leave. And one of the reasons I chose to stay is I felt that this town taught Alex how to use her powers to help people. Not just obviously Ethan at the end of chapter 1, but she also helps Mac get over his fear of Typhon, helps Ethan, Ryan, Steph and herself over the loss of Gabe, and also helped Eleanor, an old flower shop owner, with her Alzheimer's, and helped Riley, Mac's previously mentioned girlfriend / ex, depending on how the story goes, with her college. And obviously Alex didn't only help these people, but they helped her, possibly a lot more than she helped them. Now Ryan and Steph have been mentioned throughout this video. They were Gabe's best friends and obviously are now Alex's potential friends, but most importantly for the story, potential love interests. Steph is an artist that was convinced to stay in Haven Springs by Gabe, and she took over the record store and runs a local radio station from it. She's like your typical alt-rock girl who knows all of the indie hits and always has the right song for the right occasion. And we can talk about music more after this. But on to Ryan. Ryan is kind of like your soft, tough guy, I guess, if that makes any sense at all. He works as a park ranger in the local mountains around the town with a love for the environment and mainly birds for whatever reason. And with Ryan and Steph being the love interests, they are clearly a very important part of Alex's road to understanding her powers. being two of the three people she tells her powers about throughout the story, the third person being Gabe before his death. And also Ryan was the first ever time Alex would be able to tap into someone else's joy instead of negative emotions.
What emotion is this?
When Alex and Ryan are at the spot where Gabe died, remembering some of the good times. So to quickly touch on music, I feel music is just something that the Life is Strange games always just nails to the T. From that song in 1 about the American girls to the song at the start of this game. It's just, I don't know if it's just I really like that genre of music as well. That probably doesn't help, but I just feel Life is Strange has a fascinating relationship with music, and it always just hits just right. And also, after every time I play a Life is Strange game, I end up adding like about 3 more songs to my depression playlist. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's definitely a fact, I guess. So anyways, to end up, after playing this game, I come away with a great feeling that Alex has found her happiness. Maybe one day I'll find mine, but that's not important, which I feel you don't get from many other games. Not a lot of games like to end in happiness. It's always like depressing or something for a sequel. And it's also something I feel the Life is Strange games always get right, is the ability to have you feel emotions. And I'm pretty sure I said something like that at the end of The Amazing Adventures of Captain Spirit. And I will always recommend Life is Strange to people if they play video games or not. Well, that, and I always recommend The Sims to people because The Sims is allowing you to have a godplex, and we all know everybody has a god complex. It's sort of a thing. And The Sims just allows us to exercise that without getting into too much trouble. So anyways, if you guys have enjoyed my look at True Colors, which by the way, when I wrote the script for this video, it always said I spelled colors wrong because Americans are stupid and don't know how to spell color. But that's okay, there's very clearly a U in it. But hey, yeah, maybe subscribe, maybe don't, maybe see you in the next video, maybe not. Bye.